we are here to have a small chat and a small conversation about organization constellations, and mainly about the training we are going to do it in Romania. First of all, I thank you for being here. And my idea of today is that I will do a small presentation of myself. I will talk about the training in Romania, and we'll have a lot of time for questions. And perhaps if we have time, we can do a constellation, or we'll see how things goes in a very open way. And at the same time, I will say to you that you can interrupt me whenever you like. No problem at all, because this is a conversation, is not a speech. Also, I would like to present you Dragos Riti, that is our organizer in Romania, that is going to organize the training. That is a good friend of mine, and an entrepreneur, and in a way I'm quite happy that in this training we are having a male energy because a lot of time we have a lot of women, and in this case the trainer and the organizer is here, and I'm very happy with this partnership. And also he will be available for any questions that you have, and so be free for what you want. So for those people that don't know me, I will explain a little who I am. I am 76 years old, and I am from basis I am an engineering, and all my life I was working in companies, mainly my own companies. So I was and I am at this moment an entrepreneur, participating in a lot of companies. So my life was creating companies and new business, selling companies, breaking companies, all things that happens with companies. So I have quite a big experience in the field of business, and I will not tell you all the story, but about 20 years ago, I decided to sell all my companies and to try a different thing, that I didn't know what it was, and for several reasons, family constellations appears in my way after organizational constellations, and since then I dedicated myself only to organizational constellations, where I did a lot of training all over the world. And at the same time, I can offer a different approach in organizational constellations because of my background. So if my background is engineering and come from business, is the way I look to constellations. And for me, this is important, and this is to say to you how we are going to lead the training, because it is a very practical way and very, I would say, fits on the floor. Because when we talk about constellations, a lot of people don't know what it is. They think that is something strange. And what I think is that we should bring to the world constellation work as a normal tool, as other tools that exist. And is that my approach? So I try to demystify the constellations. I think I always say that I don't believe on constellations, but I believe on my client, because what happens in the constellation nobody knows. The constellations happens inside of the client. Is not what we see in the constellations that is real. That is only the perception of the facilitator and the perception of the participants. But the real constellations is inside of the client. And so my focus essentially is not on doing the technique itself, because the technique itself, it's not really very complicated. My focus is how can I help people to transform their life, but by their own wish. So it's not the facilitator that is saying what to do, but the facilitator facilitates a process so the client can see things in a different way. I believe that transformation is something that is not easy. All us, and we are here, we want to change. It's our, oh, we want to change to be better, like that. But really, it's very difficult to change. If we understand from where we came, our systemic heritage, our parents, grandparents, all that we, how was our life since we were a little child. So we are very conditioned to our future. In a way, we have free will to do everything that we want, but at the same time, we are conditioned for all our past. And for me, so the capacity that we have to change is not much. But what I think is that most of the people are looking to ourselves in order that we want to change compared with other people. And we want to look at us with all our things that are wrong on us, instead of concentrated in our resources and in what we are good. Normally what we think it's bad on us is because we compare with somebody outside of us. And what we have to do is, how can we improve the beautiful person that is inside of me, and how can I discover myself to have a better life? Not comparing with other people, because other people have different experiences. And we like, the human being like very much to see to the negativity instead of looking to the positivity. And the way of change for me is through that. And constellations can be an excellent tool, because what I think is that we don't really change our client, but we help the client to see the world, or his company, or his family, whatever, in what field we are, in a different way. So if we can see the world, if we can see us, if we can see the people that are around us in a different way, things change. So my world change. So if my world change, I change. So I think that the change is easier if we think like that. So if we go to companies, and instead of telling them that they have to change, if we can tell them, okay, the only thing that you have to do is to look to your system in a different way. And looking in a different way, perhaps you find new solutions. Perhaps you find new ways of doing the same thing, or perhaps doing things in a different way. And it's very relaxing when you tell people that they don't have to change. They only have to look in a different way. And I think this is marvelous, and this is the approach we can bring to this world. And constellations can be in this world very helpful. And also, not only we know what happens with family constellations, but in organizational constellations, we can help a lot the human being. We have to be careful when we do constellations inside of a company that we don't have, or we don't are allowed to go to the personal themes. It's a little dangerous because we can expose people to that. Of course, sometimes we can do it if we do some individual work or in another context, but in company, it's really important that we understand that when we go to the company, we go in and we go out, and they stay there. So the work we do there, it's really important that our client is quite protected, and so we don't go to the personal part of the client. But anyhow, the concept of constellations, when we began that, it came first family constellations, and after came organizational constellations. And of course, organizational constellation was done by people that came from family. And so there was a concept that we have to first heal the person, and after go to the company to heal or to do something in the company. And that was the concept that it was at the beginning. But now, and some time ago, I discovered one thing really very interesting, that we are systemic, and we can see by our body that we are systemic. And so sometimes I have a pain in my shoulder, and somebody makes a massage in my head, and the pain goes out. So because we are systemic, our body is the perfect piece of systemic. Everything is connected with everything, and everything in my body knows information from the other parts of the system. So, and for the experience, I had a lot of cases of going to companies and doing essentially organizational work. But when we do organizational work, we help the client to see his system in a different way. And of course, there is a change in the client in the organizational field. But the problem is that the client changed, so his internal attitude changed. So that body that is in the company, and that I work with it in the company, goes home. And so who goes home? It's a different person. It's a different person in a different attitude that he learned in the company. And I have a lot of people that 2-3 weeks after an organization constellation in the company, they phone me and say, "Oh, Cecilio, I don't know what happened, but things in my family are better." And this is amazing, okay? That in a way, before we thought that we had to go to the family, so transform the person to go to the organizational system. But now we can see that if we help the client to transform in the organizational system, the client change and something of his family can change also. So this can give us some kind of relax for the facilitators that we don't have to go to the family system. Of course, sometimes we put some elements of the family system. But if we believe on the power of systemic, the point is that it's not important where I touch on the client, because I think that everything will change. And that is the marvelous of the constellation. And another thing that I think it's important when we do constellations is that we stay humble in a way of understanding that I don't know anything about the client. Some of us like to understand the client, understand the issue that the client can, and even to make an interpretation of the dynamics. And this is a temptation, normal temptation for the human being. So in a way, sometimes, mainly when we start working in this area, we have a lot of pressure to solve the problems of the client. But the question is that we don't have to solve the problems of the client. It's the client that has to solve. If we focus on helping the client to find the solution, it's much more helpful than to say to the client, oh, this is the solution, or this is the dynamic. And it's relaxing for the facilitator if your focus is how can I give more information to my client so the client can decide better. It's completely different if my focus is I have to find a solution to the client. And this can change our work, and we can work much better. Because it's not possible, we have to understand, it's not possible to find a solution to the client. Because when we have a problem, we have several solutions. What is the best solution? Is not the one I think is the one that my client finds. So my focus is more on helping the client to start walking to the solution, because the solution will appear in that path. But it's really difficult. It's really difficult for us, because the client comes to us, oh, Cecilio, please help me, because I have this problem. And in a way, my ego says, okay, don't worry, I'll do it for you. Wrong, okay? I cannot do anything for the client. But my will, it is that I want to help the client. Even people say that we are in this field, that we are in a helping business, okay? So our job is to help the client. But I agree with that. Our job is to help the client, but not to help the client in order to give the solution. It's to help the client to show different ways, to help the client to think, and to help the client to responsibilize it for being responsible for their decisions. And that is another thing that is really important in my opinion about constellations, is how can we responsible the client? Because we have to understand the dynamic. The client comes with a problem, an issue that he wants to see better, or he wants to, in a way, get some ideas for that. But in a way, he put in relation to us, he puts in a lower place and put the facilitator in a up place. So when I'm here and the client puts me here, my ego says, okay, don't worry, I will do it for you. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of years in this area. I can help you. And this is my ego. And I have to understand that I cannot help the client because I cannot understand the client. So what I have to do is to lower myself a little and push the client up. And when we are like that, there are two people at the same level to help each other. So I can be the expert on organization constellations, but my client is the expert in his company. I don't know anything about his company. So these two experts that are in the same level can fly together in the constellation. I can help the client during the constellation because I'm facilitating the process. But at the same time, the client is the expert of his company. And it's really interesting because if we do the work like that, it's amazing the surprises that we get in the constellations. Because sometimes, as facilitator, I think that the things are going in one way, and after the client, the feedback is amazing, completely different of what I thought I saw in the constellation. But this is really difficult because of this, in a way, our ego, but also because the client put us here. Even when I am in a training, and as you know, we have this relationship always. Here is the student, and here is the teacher. But in constellations, for me, I'm not like that. I'm not teaching. When I am in a training, what I say is that I'm facilitating a process to my students so they remember what they already know. Because constellation is something that is already inside of us. Everybody knows. But in a way, we have to put some ideas so that people can remember that. The human being is amazing. You know, we have trainings for facilitators, but we don't have trainings for representatives. I go to a company, they don't know anything about constellations. They didn't heard anything about constellation. And it's clear for them. And they can be representatives, give feedbacks in an excellent way. Why? Because their body already knows, and we can use it. I remember 1 month ago, I did 1 day of constellations with a bank, with the Department of Human Resources, and nobody knew anything about constellation. It was amazing, and there were some people very skeptic, and at the end, they all find that very interesting. Because constellations, for me, is the language of the children. Our children and ourselves, we did constellations when we were young, very little. Playing with dolls, saying, oh, this is Papa, this is Mama. Papa says this to the Mama, like that. But after, we came to our rational mind. And so we stay very rational. And now, what we have to do, we have to pay to learn what we already know. So my job when I try to do trainings is much concentrated on the attitude of the facilitator. It's not to learn the technique. The technique is easy. You put some people representing and you ask questions. That is the technique. But the important thing is how we do it. What is my inner intention when, as a facilitator, I do a constellation? And for me, that is the essential of this work, and this is the essential of the training. And what I try to do is not that you do it in the way I think what constellation is, or in the way I think that is the right attitude. No, I try that each one of you can, in a way, feel and understand what is your real good attitude to do this work. So we in this work, we don't have to be, we don't have to agree on how people do it. If you see several people, trainers or facilitators that have a lot of experience in this field, you see that their work is differently. And their work is differently because they do it from their own. And it's that inner attitude that is unique, and it is the good one. So when you come to the training, is not to be like me. Nobody can be like me because nobody has my parents and all my experience. And I do constellation as an engineering. It's my background. I have my foot on the floor. I don't fly a lot, okay? But of course, if a psychologist do constellations, he or she does it in a different way. Not better or worse than me. It's only in a different way. But she will be wrong if she do it at my way, and I would be wrong if I do it at her way. So it's very important that we understand what is our way, because with that, the work will be easier. And that's mainly what I think about this work. I don't have to agree with people or the way they do it. I like that during the training, you will not agree with me and put your own ideas. That's the way that we can grow. And it's really interesting that we don't, sometimes when we don't have the same ideas, but if we talk about, I can learn a little about you, and you can learn little about me. Because I can see that people do it in a different way, with a different attitude, and thinking in a different way. And I say, okay, perhaps something of this I can integrate in my own attitude. And this is the learning process. So what I try is that you discover your own way. In a way, I'm quite known for empowering people, because I like that people are completely free and can fly. And sometimes I have feedback from people that were my students, and they are doing a lot of things completely different than they learned with me. And I'm happy with that, because that people could find their way. And it's how they feel well to do it. So this is a process that we learn with each other. And we have to develop ourselves. So my focus and the training will be very much in terms of very practical. Okay, I give a lot of some things that I say, I don't know, it's theoretical parts, of course, but after we do a lot of practicing. I like that people will start doing constellations in the 2 or 3 days when we start, because it is the way we can learn. In this type of learning, it's not a structural learning. We cannot learn chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4, and after we have a book and we know how to do it. No, it's practical. So we learn how to make constellations only when we make constellations. So my proposal is a lot of exercises, so we can try making constellations. Perhaps sometimes it's with 2, 3 people, after can be with 5 people. But the idea is that has to be practical. And that's the only way that we can grow. Because one of the things that is important is that if you are doing a training and you want to work, what happens with a lot of people is that they wait for doing practical things after the training. And that's not a good idea. A good idea is to start doing things, small things, so we can have more sensible. And in this case that we have several modules, it's really interesting that after the first module, that you can do some practicing, so when you come to the next module, you'll be more prepared. Because in this area, and that's what I think very interesting in constellation work, is that sometimes people ask me, okay, you do this training, and after you do an expert training, and after a super expert training. And what I think of the learning in this area is that we don't need all those steps. What I think and what I saw in a lot of trainings is that if you enter here, you go out here. If you enter with this wisdom here, you go like that. So it's always a continuous process. There is some people, and we have already some inscriptions of people that already did my training, and they are repeating. But it's not a repetition. It's never a repetition. The feedback that I have for the people that did the repetition is that it is a completely different training. Even if I do most of the exercises the same, but the perception that they have about the same reality change. And sometimes they say, okay, I understood this differently. I remember that one of the trainers that I like very much, but it's different than Organizational Constellations, but it's also Organizational Constellations, but very focused. That is structural constellations. that is Mattia Varga Vorkived and his wife Insa Sparrer. And I remember that the first training I did with them, I understood very well a lot of things. And on the second training that I did with them, and they said more or less similar things, I changed completely my mind. And I said, oh, I didn't understood that at that time. So, and that is not the skill of the facilitator. It is the skill of the student. It's how we are and the will that we want to make another step. And this is quite interesting. So it's this is not a standard training. It's something different because we cannot teach in a structured way. In a way, I have some structure for the training, but of course the things happens with the dynamic of the participants. Before we go to some questions and something like that, I would like to share, to share some information. So I send you this leaflet, so I'm not going to take a lot of time here because I want to hear you, but only the main things. It is, okay, let's go. Okay, that you can check here. So we are going to do 3 modules of 6 days in March, June, and September. And also we are going to do at the middle of it, between 1 and 2 modules, an online module to teach, sorry, just to teach, to make constellations online. And with that, we are going to give you a tool that I developed that is a very interesting tool that even you can try if you want. Let me see if I can send you. I give you here the site that you can try it, and perhaps we can see something here. You can try it and for free during 1 month. But this tool we will give to you, and it will be available free during all the training. So you will use it during the training, but also you can use it with your clients and your anybody that you want. And even now you can try it, and it can be quite interesting. About this program is very detailed program, but this is not going to be like that, as you know. It's not starting 1, 2, 3 like that. But the main idea is that this is based in the online training that I do with 10 modules, that in each module I like to bring, you have here what is in blue, it's more related with constellations, and in red is a more specific area of business. So I like to go to a specific area of business, and with that we do the constellation work. That's why we have here a list of several areas, but that's why it has 2 titles each of this part. So it's, as you can see, it's 10 modules here. How we are going to divide it during the training, we never know. And we have 18 days of presential, and all these areas will go. They will be together, and we go up and down and integrated one with another. But you can see this easily. After you will get another thing that can be interesting for the people that are interested. You can have access to have a seal of Infusion, that is our association. You have to do this training, and after doing some more things, more curricular, and that I will explain in the training. Also, we will give you a quality seal, and at the same time, you will be listed on our website, where I have there about 1,000 professionals that were already certified by us. Some of them they are here. I'm happy to see you. And okay, that's essential. It was just a small thing that I wanted to say. Anyhow, you have okay. The investment, it is until 15th of February. You have a special price, and also we have special price for our former students. And okay, essential is that it's. I don't want to lose much time here, so we have time for you. And okay, I think I talked too much. I know, Dragos, I don't know if you want to add something or about the facilities and all that.
Yes, thank you, Cecilio. First of all, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for being part of this session. And also thank you, Cecilio, for choosing Romania to do this 52nd edition of your international training. I think it's very valuable, and we are honored to organize that this training in Romania. I will make a very short presentation about the organization of the event, and then maybe we can go to the Q&A session, whatever being a professional or admin or organizing questions you might have. So, like Cecilio said before, and unfortunately my screen froze, so I couldn't hear everything he said about me and how we met. I will probably repeat what he said. We've met back in 2016, I guess, in Uruguay at the International Conference of Organizational Constellations, and then we met again in 2018, and I've seen him last year in Portugal, and we decided we might present something in Romania, and we had a workshop in November, a 3-day workshop, showing a bit the way Cecilio is working and what he's bringing to the world. And hence this idea of organizing this training appeared. So we teamed up, Cecilio bringing all his knowledge and experience, and me the place and the organization of the events, for you to be part of this adventure together with us. So the training, like Cecilio already said, will be 3 modules of 6 days in Bucharest. It will be in a central place close to the Parliament's building, which is the second biggest building in the world, if you didn't know that. And it has its particular history, as well as this country for you who have not been here before. So everything is in one place. We have special conditions for people who want to book a room at the hotel where we're having the event. And also, I think you might have some time to explore a little bit the surrounding and take some time for yourself. I think it's going to be 6 very intensive days, and Cecilio and me with my team, we will be there to support all your needs, being professional or, like I said, from other directions. I am myself a facilitator, and I'm doing this work for more than 15 years, and I'm doing also family constellation, organizational constellations, and I'm doing also constellation with horses. So, and I think I seen in Cecilio, or Cecilio has seen in me, that we are coming from the similar background, the engineering background, and I think we are looking and seeing the world in similar parameters. So, and I think this is a combination that will give you something very interesting, and like you said, foot on the ground. More than that, I am not sure what to tell you. If you have questions, I think this session is open for you right now. Thank you.
Okay, and I remember one thing that we will have in each module, each of the 6 modules, we will have, we are thinking on doing one day open, so we can have some clients from outside of the group to do constellations.
Yes, actually, in the first module, we will have the 28th of March will be dedicated to open workshop for clients to sign in and work.
Okay, good. Thank you, Dragos.
Yeah, and maybe what I will leave here is the website where you can see all the information about the workshop and all the conditions, and where you can sign up or reserve your spot for the training.
Yes, please put it in the chat.
I think it's there.
Okay, so now it's your turn, and I try to be more or less synthetic, not only talking about the training itself, but some general things about constellations, mainly the way I feel about it. And it's and my idea of today. I think we have, in a way, I put it more or less 1.5 hours, so we have time. To any questions, and I would say that questions about the training, and also any other crazy questions that you can have, and that can be interesting for you. Any kind of questions. If forget training, and what would you like to know, or what some doubts about organization constellations, or any field that it would be interesting to explore, any issue that you'd like to explore, whatever.
Hi,
Yes,
Cecilio.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
sorry. Did someone else raise hand?
yes, Francesca.
Okay, I
Raise hands, and after you. Okay, I have Francesca, and after you, and after Ugo. Okay, good, great. So nice to meet you, Francesca, for so many years.
yes. So since nobody was asking, I'm really curious. First of all, thank you for your coming back, and thank you, Dragos, for holding the space for it. And I would really love to know in the last year, since you've been like a little bit out of the field, reflecting and creating, and probably like a personal process. What's your different vision now in this new training compared to before, if there's any, or somehow what's new from you in this training? Thank you and welcome back.
That's a good question, because I discovered one thing really interesting, that it's not good for me to do sabbatical time. I try to do my empty space. I try to have time to think, and it was not very helpful in a way. I think that the great ideas that came to me normally is when I'm working hard in a way. But I can say to you that I continue struggling a lot about organization constellations on how can we introduce it in companies. And that is the big challenge. And that's what I've been thinking about that. And another thing that is for me important is if, and that's a question, a philosophical question, if I'm useful to my clients. And I have a lot of good feedbacks. People say very nice things about me. But when I talk about useful, is how much my work can be effective to the clients. And that I understood that that does not depend on me. That's only depending on the clients. So sometimes I can do a marvelous constellation, and 6 months after I'm with the client and nothing happens. And sometimes I do a bad constellation and everything changes on the client. And that is really my challenge. I try that when people after constellation say good things about the work or say good things about me, I try not to believe. And so my point now, or my focus, is how can I help the client? How can I say? How can I help the client that the client helps himself? So in a way, what kind of hammer I have to use? Because it's only the client. It's not, the work does not depend on me. And so when I do constellations, and sometimes very nice constellations that everybody likes, even they like to applaud. I don't like that, but and people stays very happy about the constellations. And if that constellations does not have real effects on the client, I'm frustrated. Because in a way, I feel that I'm losing time. So I could use my time with another client that used that. So my challenge, and it's different, it's nothing to do with constellations, is in what I said before, it's what can be my attitude so the client can be more effective for them. That's the my challenge in a way. Other thing that I was doing during this year, I'm developing a new tool. The one that I have, it's working quite well, but I'm developing a new tool to be easier, but also that it can be automatically integrated on Zoom. And I'm thinking on a crazy thing that I don't know if I can do it or not, but we are working on that, is how can I put artificial intelligence in the tool so we can do some small auto constellations. That's a crazy idea. I don't believe on that. But in another way, I believe on that when I think that the work is done by the client. So I'm doing on that. And also, other thing that came to me and perhaps I'll do it. It's what I call the financial constellations. Not only to do essentially for investments, and that I work already with startups and all that, and I have some clients that have a lot of startups, and we are doing a lot of work with them, but also to bring that to the area of the stocks or even the crypto. And I did some experience because I'm in a training with some people as a student, and I had that idea, but I don't know how to put it. But I want to do something different. In a way, constellations is always different, we know, but it's always the same. So I'm quite, I would say that this year was something that put me more nervous than before, with some ideas, but with no conclusions. And that's a feeling that I like. I like very much to be on the unknown, and I feel that something is cooking inside, and let's see what happens. But mainly with no expectation, and mainly with no hurry. So if it will happen, it happen. If it will not happen, it does not happen. Okay, I hope I could answer you. Okay, Ming. Ming, where are you? No.
I'm here,
Yeah.
Cecilio. I'm so happy to see you again. And
I want to tell you that Ming is my best translator in Chinese. She's an excellent translator, and I like very much her work. Thank you for helping me doing work with Chinese people.
thank you so much, Cecilio. And I just want to give my testimonial. And actually, last night, I just finished my module 1 on my organizational constellation entry course.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and it's all because of your teaching. There will be 5 modules, and I offer it to my country folks who are Taiwanese people. And my dream is one day I can be like Dragos. I can bring you to my hometown and be the organizer here. So thank you so much, Cecilio.
Great, thank you. And I'm very happy that you are already flying. That is my real objective.
And I'm finally paying for your sexy tools.
Yeah, great. Great. Okay, there was Hugo around. Yes.
There was also Angela
Yes,
who raised her
Cecilio,
hand.
can you hear me, Cecilio?
Yes.
Hey, it's really nice to meet you. First time. We've never met before, but this is very nice of you to introduce this. You were asking a wide question about, has anyone got something to share or any questions? So this isn't about the training, but it suddenly occurred that you and perhaps everyone else could hear me out. I've recently, in the last year, started practicing family constellations here in London, in UK. And hey, you know what? Thank God, it's going well. People are interested. I get a lot of fresh faces, and it's great. I'm now at the point where, having accepted no money at all, and instead allowing the ticket price to go to the cafe where I'm hosted, I'm now in a position thinking that I should begin to look on the basis really of fair exchange at taking money for my services. And so my question is really not about organizational constellations, but is about the quality of managing constellations as a paid for service to customers, to clients, to curious members of the public. I've got concerns, I've got worries. And that's because at the start of my journey to bring my own practice, as soon as I charged money for myself, all the interest from my clients completely dried up.
Yeah.
And when you said earlier, you know, the key piece here for a constellating facilitator is what is your true intention? I'm interested that in my case, where I struggle with this part of the exchange, right? To have pay come back in return for a service, I've found that my intention is
Okay.
shifted. How can I get your help on that? Well, maybe others have ideas who might have
Okay.
on the same
I
path.
have a complete module for that, and I try
Exactly.
I try to answer you with some key points in 5 minutes. I'll try. What is the basis of not charging? The basis of not charging is I don't charge something. The essence of that is that in a way you don't value yourself.
Mm.
And in a way you are going to get the reward of that people, your satisfaction, that in a way is something that you are looking for the reward from your parents. That is the basic, okay? But the change is that if you don't charge, is that your value is zero. And they got the service. So this is not balanced, okay?
Mm.
And so first you have to make an internal process of, because you are working, if you are working, even in this area, you should have something, some rewards.
Mm.
And also the same, you are not giving responsibility to your clients, because as your clients does not pay, they not cost, they don't involve very much on the process. Okay. If a client pays, he will try to get everything from me. Okay. If he doesn't pay, he says, okay, I go there because it's free.
Mm.
Okay. And after, and the danger is here. So first, you have to look to yourself, because in a way we work free, because in a way what we want is that I'm buying their love.
Mm.
And I'm very satisfied. Okay.
Mm.
Because I don't think I value, but perhaps it's not you. Perhaps you are doing an excellent work, but it's your inner child that don't value, because your parents didn't look at you. And I don't say your parents didn't look at you, but I would say that you didn't felt that your parents look at you. That's a different thing, okay?
Mm.
And the danger here is that you are promoting yourself in the environment of the people that looks for free things. And those people that look for free things, the day that you don't do a free thing, they will look for another one that do everything.
Mm.
So you are not valuing yourself, okay? And so you have to go to another market. Because the market where you are because sometimes we think, okay, this is for free, so they get me known and after I will charge. Okay, but that is if you do only one thing. For instance, I can explain to you. I'm doing today a free session. Okay, so I don't charge for what I'm giving to you, but I'm charging. Is my reward? Instead of paying publicity or making commercial, okay, I'm doing this. So in a way, I'm trying to sell some of my products and also myself. So this is not free. Do you understand? Okay. This is what has to change inside of you. And this is long. It's nothing like that. But first I would think, instead of what I said, it's think of what is the value that you think for yourself.
Mm.
And of course, I have a lot of very interesting exercises to understand that. But the main dynamics can be that. Okay. You have other professions?
Yes. So this is really the change from doing this as a hobby, doing this for love, and now moving it to the basis of fair exchange and reward.
But your other job is as an employee or as an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur, self-employed. Yeah.
Okay, so it's easy for you.
Yeah, I'm flexible.
Okay, so Constellations, it's a business. Put that in your head.
Yeah,
It's
very
a
good.
business. Okay.
Cecilio, thank you. Very nice.
Of course, you are doing for love for the people. Okay, and you do it in a lovely way, but they have to pay. If you don't look of other things, they have to pay your time. Okay?
Mark, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Angela.
Hello, Cecilio. You said about discover our own way, and my question is how constellation can support me in see what needs to be revealed to understanding and discovering my own path.
Okay. That's what I don't like very much in constellations, is that you want to discover what is not revealing on you. And a lot of constellations come people and say, I want to discover what don't let me go to the success. So with that philosophy, what I can tell you is that you have thousands of things that don't let you go. And if you are going to discover what is not letting you go, we can do in a constellation and discover something here. But after, we go back. I will show, because in a way I can show you. Let me see. Okay. So I will do so you can see the tool. I will choose, this is several possibilities that we can use with this tool. I will not explain everything now, but okay. But you can see it. So this is our tool. So I will put, Normally I ask the client to choose somebody for you, but okay, okay. So this will be Angela. Let's see your success. What color do you prefer?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. And what you have to discover that won't let you go on? What is the difficulty that you have? Okay. And what color?
Green.
Okay, I can put what you told the invisible difficulty. Okay. I'm not going to do a constellation because we don't have much time, but
Okay.
so what you ask me is that you are here. You want to go to the success. And you have something that don't let you go. That is in a way hidden, as we have so many things, okay? See how you feel like that. So your movement is to go there, right?
Yes.
But what you choose with your question? Oh, Cecilio, before I go to the success of where I want to check what is not letting me go. And so I can do a constellation here, and we do something, okay. We do some work here, and you discover that something of your youth or something relations with your mother or your father happened, okay. And when you discover that, you say, and sometimes you say, okay, now I can go to the success. But after you think a little and you say to me, oh, Cecilio, I think there is something else. Okay, there is something else. And so there is something else that don't let you go there. So let's do a constellation. Go here. And that never ends. How much time you are going to be discovering what is not letting you go? Instead, you can do a thing. First, understand that you are not perfect. And you have many things here, that those things that you have here, perhaps they are things that don't let you go. But perhaps these things that don't let you go, perhaps are things that give you strength to go better. Because when you go to the future, you take all your past with you. The point is that a lot of times we want to clean our past. Our idea always is, okay, let's go here and let's clean this, all this. And when we clean all these things, okay, we can look and go to the success. And the human being, like, instead of using these things, like to clean that. And I like, because we think that this is, and I'm sorry the word, but I like to use it because it's the way it stays. All of us, we have a lot of shit on our back. We think that is shit, okay? But you can see is what the farmers do with the shit. They use it to raise new plants, new elements. They transform that. So what is your job? Is to transform that, using it to go to the success. And perhaps some of this help you. Or it's something interesting that perhaps some of this don't let us go so quickly. So perhaps we go to the success in a more stable way. So when somebody comes to me in a constellation, ask me for what is there, I don't like to do it because you look back. You are looking to this. You are not looking to the success. You will never arrive to the success or the new life or the project that you have. I want to do a project. Oh, but there is something that I can tell you that not only you, but I am a person that I have a lot of traumas, as everybody. We have a lot of traumas from childhood. We have a lot of things that were difficult. And our inner child says, oh, Cecilio, don't go. Perhaps when you see here, you don't believe that, but I am a very shy guy. And and it's always difficult to be here. So when I do any training, any conference, any live like this, and when I think on that or something invited me, my first movement is saying no, because I have so many things, I'm not able, okay. But I have to go. So perhaps if we can look back, and you can look back and you see how good it is this. I can give you an example, perhaps you can understand better. My mother, she's still alive, she has 98 years old. She only sees me. I have 3 sisters, and so she was very absorbing of me. So she was very suffocated. So at 20 years old, I was still studying. I get out of home, and I began working when I was finishing my studies of engineering. And that movement, that it was against her, of course, made me a very independent guy. And I was always, even now it's always difficult because she phones me a lot and she's very, very present. And I say some criticism about our mother, as everybody does, okay? But at the end, I understood she was an excellent teacher, that in a way I had to go out of the house, and I'm independent now because of her. Perhaps it was the only way that I could do that. Okay. And something that it is bad, or that we think it's bad, I could feel that it was good for me. Of course, it was not the nice way to do it, but perhaps in the nice way, I would not learn. So the point is, how can you use and how can you profit of all those things that you think that don't let you go? That you think that you had a very difficult life. No, if you have a difficult life, you had a lot of experience. And that experience, you will use it in future difficulties that you have. It's only that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is the tool. It was last. This is the tool that you can use it during the training, or even you can try. And so you saw how easy it was, and also not only I can move the elements, I can move the board, and also I can put several different sizes for them. I have also another feature here. This size that is what that element is looking. So there is a lot of possibilities and very easy and intuitive to work. I will not go into details now, but you can use it and test it and whatever. Okay.
Thank you. Sure, I will test it.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, Eda,
Hi, Cecilio.
good to see you.
Good. It's always great to see you. And thank you, Dragos, to arrange this meeting. And the year before, when you decided to take the sabbatical, I was kicked out from my company and I was from my ivory tower and thrown. And I had to, when I heard that you are going to take the sabbatical, and I thought that it's a good idea, but it was 1 year ago. And I couldn't move. I freeze, fight, flight, freeze. And when you explaining things to Angela, it's just kind of to my mind that you had a lot of magical things in your trainings. I had a couple of them, and it's just a spoiler for this future students who would like to take one of your trainings. I totally forget that we had an exercise on, backpack exercise.
Yeah.
And it's just this explanation to Angela is just remind me. I think I'm going to do that exercise tomorrow. Maybe it will give me some kind of motivation to step into the career world, because somehow, according to my friends, I had some curse like inertia, I was like, tomorrow, I will revise my CV, I will do that, I will apply jobs, but I always avoiding it. And yeah, it's just remind me that one of your exercise, which is backpack
Yes.
exercise. Yeah,
Um,
here we go.
your point is not only the back, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's perhaps, and I'm telling this because I know.
Yeah, you know me.
So if I put you, Eva,
Mm-hmm.
and I put your new work. And also your old work. So it's the same, it's very similar dynamic, okay? But you are going to have new work. It can be new work as employee, it can be as entrepreneur, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it is your old work. Perhaps I can guess that you are still here.
Yeah.
And you are still here because you have so many things to say bad about your old work.
Yeah.
You have to criticize them. They were very bad people with you, and you stay here. And if they dismiss you for any reason, what we have to understand that is in each relationship, the responsibility is always 50-50. Okay.
Yes.
You have 50-50 and they have 50. Okay. And the point here is, when are you able to thank to your old work? That's the only way that you can split for the old work, is when you thank them. And it's not to thank them, okay? It's to thank inside of you. You have to thank for what you learn here. You have to think of what I suffer with you. You were very bad people. I suffered. It was very hard. But that learning, I will use it in the future. And so you take from there all your learnings and live with them their own responsibility. That's one movement that you have to do. I don't know if you did it already. And there is another movement that is always also possible, and I don't know, it's just ideas, is when you want to forgive yourself.
Yes,
Ah,
that's
okay.
because we did the first half in Bilbao, and I think I thanks to them, also the former company, and I have, but the second one is I never touch it, and that's the thing that I don't want to touch it in 1 year.
Ah, okay. So you are escaping from you.
Yeah,
Okay. And who is the most important person in this world?
me
Okay. So when you believe on that?
last week.
And
I believe
when
on that last
when
week.
you take a lot of time doing that work,
Mm-hmm.
that will be harder and harder.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say to this Eda,
Mm-hmm.
you look to the Eda and you say to Eda, what a learning process for you.
What learning process for you, Eder?
I'm very happy that you are still alive
I'm very happy that you're still alive
with everything that you suffer.
with everything you suffered.
And when I see you a strong woman.
When I see you, I see a strong woman.
That you could achieve everything that happened with your old work.
Yeah, that you could achieve that everything and old work.
And say to this Eda, I believe on you.
I believe on you.
Okay.
It took me 1 year to say that. Thank you, Cecilio.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Good.
Cecilio's magic, as always, work. Thank you, Cecilio. Gracias.
Good. Great. So we are just in time.
Yeah, I think there's one more question, Cecilio,
Yeah.
that has been put on the chat, and it's coming.
I cannot. I'm sorry, I'm not a woman. I cannot read and talk at the same time.
Okay, so the question is coming from Ana Catalao, and the question is like that. As we know, soul movements can be very slow. How can we deal as facilitators with the hurry of the client to obtain results for their problems?
When I ask, sorry, Cecilio, when I ask this is in the context of organization constellations.
Yeah,
Not-
but in
the
personal,
same.
it's the same. Okay.
But the companies, sometimes they want very quick results. And how can we deal with that?
When you convince yourself that the human being is very slow, and that pressure that you feel is essentially your pressure. Of course, they say that. They all say that. But you can say to them, it's not possible. And that is hard for you to say. Because in the way you wanted, that would be quick. But it's not. And if we understand the way systemic works, everything or any decision that we take in a company, it can be taken by the boss, okay, but it is influence for all these people here. And the system has a resistance to change. So the changes have to be slow. And they are slow. And if you see for yourself that you want to be better, we want always to be better, how many changes did you do in your life quickly? No. It takes a lot of time. So the question is that say to them, it's not possible. Everything is influenced by everything. I give you an example of systemic that I like. You remember Obama when went to the presidency? He said that he would close Guantanamo. And I think that he was sincere. He was honest with the intention. But he was there for 8 years, and after 8 years, Guantanamo was there. He could put, there are much less prisoners there, okay? So there was a change, but it was not closed. Because all the system does not allow it. I give you another example that I do a dynamic with glasses to explain what is systemic to people, what is a family system, and what is an organization system. But if you are in a startup, you are in a startup and you are selling potatoes, and you realize that potatoes does not have a market, and you say, okay, now I will sell onions. You do it like that, yes? In a startup, you can do it because it is 1 or 2 people, and you can change. Now you go to the hospital. That is a company, an organization that has 300 years. It has thousands of people working there. And you want to make a change there. It's not possible. It's possible to change, but slowly. I have a client that was working in a private sector, and he had a proposition to go to an important part of the national security, the social security in Portugal. And he was very happy. He told me, oh yes, I'm going there. I'm very happy because there is so many things that I can do to change and to improve. And he was really happy. Some month after, he phoned me, Cecilio, I'm completely crazy. I want to quit because I cannot do, I didn't do anything that I wanted to do because this, I cannot change that. Okay, I have a meeting with him and I asked him, everything or every decision that you took, can you see not big change, but can you see a very, very, very small change? And I said, yes. And perhaps you could do some small changes. Okay. And I explained this of the inertia of the big systems and the small systems. And I said to him, so now you understand what is possible for the system where you are. And now you can decide if you want to stay here with that, and you know what you can do, but in a different speed that you want, or that you expected, or you can go out. And the interesting thing is that he decided to stay. But he stayed in a non-stressful way, because he understood. So what I suggest to you is that just explain the clients, because it's the truth. Or even you can ask the client, okay, you want fast? Please give me an example of a company that did that fast. And also, the good thing of not doing fast is that when we don't do it very fast, we do less wrong things. Because it's a continuous adaptation. But that, I think it's more with your expectation and that only for the client, because in a way you say, no, I'm as professional, I want to give what my client asks, but you can't. It's only the client that can do the change, and it's slow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it's very slow, the changes, not only in the individual as each one of us, but also to everybody. And if we are in the system, if we are in a family system is one thing, but when you go to an organizational, it's much more complicated, because in that organization, you have all the family systems of all the people that work there. How can you want to do fast changes? It's impossible.
I work in the school. I know what you are talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But you can do changes when you understand that.
Yes.
And so you don't force so much, and perhaps it goes a little faster than before.
Thank you, Cecilio.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's all. Okay, so thank you for your presence. Anyhow, you can contact me or Dragos if you want to participate, or any other thing that you need. Also, you can consult my website and the website of the training that Dragos put here, where you find a lot of information. And it was really happy to be here. I don't know if Dragos, you want to tell some 2 or 3 words?
Yeah, I would like to thank you also for being present here this evening. I will send you my email address. I put it on the chat. If you have questions about organizing or about any things that you need or you think you need for this training, just please send me an email and I will answer you about payment plans, about accommodation, about the weather. I don't know, whatever you feel you need to know, please don't hesitate to send me a question. And like Cecilio said, you can send him also questions if he can help you in this sense. But for the organization and admin things, I'm the one who can answer your question.
Yeah. Okay. And also just to tell you that I plan to send you the recording of this session. That can be useful for you, and also I will send the email of Dragos and all the contacts and all that. Okay, so have a nice end of weekend, and I hope to see some of you in Romania or in other part of the world. We never know. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Have a great evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.